Pokemon. Gotta catch 'em all.
True.
Courage will pull us through. You teach me and I'll teach you. Pokemon. Gotta catch 'em all. Gotta catch 'em all. Pokemon. Now, who here knows the second verse?
And welcome, everyone, to the first episode of Shredded Cels, the first Tech Heads anime podcast. I'm your host, Alex Schmitz, and with me today is Matt Loon.
Hello?
That is how you pronounce it, right?
No, it's Matt Lon.
Lon. Okay.
You want to record that?
Yeah, we're going to keep going because we're a conversational podcast. And over here, I have Jeremy Zajac.
I am indeed a loon, so it's okay to call me that.
And over to my right is Marc Goldsmith.
Oh, yeah.
Goldilocks.
Shut up.
And over the Skype, we have Keith Cookie Pants Crandall.
All right, this really needs to stop. You're not doing it.
Yeah, I don't know. I like that nickname. I think we should keep
don't.
it.
What is C for?
Yeah, this is a new podcast we've been starting up here at Tech Heads. Tech Heads is a part of AVW Productions, a student-run video production organization at Ohio University. And we currently have a video game and movie/music podcast, but this is our first anime podcast. We hope to record it bi-weekly, and we're going to see how this goes. So first of all, I figured since this is our first episode, we'd talk about how we got into anime in the first place. Anybody want to tell their story?
I can go first since we're talking about Princess Mononoke today, along with some other Ghibli films. First of all, if any of you remember watching Cartoon Network back in the day, the Toonami block.
Oh, yeah.
I want to say back in 2007, they had A Month of Miyazaki, where they played Spirited Away, Castle in the Sky, Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind, and Princess Mononoke. Mm-hmm. One night, just like, let's, just flipping through the channels, and they said A Month of Miyazaki coming up next, and it's like, okay, well, I wasn't into animation at the time. I was still a kid, and just, came on, and I saw the blue Studio Ghibli signature thing. I'm like, oh, this is going to be crap. It just looks so old, the old Studio Ghibli, like, it's presented by, and these are the companies. It's like, oh, this is going to be a piece of crap.
Yeah.
And then, it opens up with at the very beginning of the scene with talking about the spirits and the gods, and it's like, oh, okay. Started digging it, and then as I kept watching and it's it submersed me, and then after watching, I'm like, whoa, I gotta get this DVD. I gotta find it, and I didn't remember the title correctly. So the first thing I searched was Princess Miyazaki, of course. So, and that's how I got into anime.
Awesome.
So Princess Mononoke, and then my family went on a road trip out west, and that's when I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try out his other work. So I bought Laputa, I bought Nausicaa, Howl's Moving Castle, and Spirited Away.
Maybe we should pass that on. See if they'll make Princess Miyazaki.
Never know.
All right, Jeremy?
Okay, I'll admit it. The way I got into it is almost embarrassing.
Pokemon?
Yeah.
Why embarrassing? That's like the best stuff from our childhood.
Yeah.
No. It's embarrassing because that's how I got into a wider medium. Is basically by the bottom of the barrel.
I wouldn't say it's the bottom of the barrel.
I don't know.
Okay, it's not the worst. It's not like Mad Bull 34 or something horrifying like that, but it's still pretty low.
Yeah.
Let's see. All right, so the way I got into it is... No, actually, this is more embarrassing. I really, as a kid, I really liked the One Piece for Kids animation, and it was really funny because I just liked, I don't know, I liked the animation. But I think the main thing I liked most was just the different characters, and so I liked it a lot. And then I went over to my friend's house, and on his computer, he had the Japanese intro playing, and I was like, well, what's this? And he says, oh, this is One Piece. And I was confused because they weren't speaking English, and the animation was a lot nicer.
And you didn't have that one lovely little One Piece rap they had.
Exactly. And I'm like, wait, this is more catchy than the other theme song. This is awesome. So I started watching the Japanese version, and it's even better. So I started watching One Piece, and then, One Piece and started watching a whole bunch of other
Definitely
animes.
one of my favorite shonen shows.
Yeah.
I'll say this right now about the 4Kids One Piece. It's not nearly as terrible as other 4Kids stuff. It's actually pretty decent compared to their other stuff.
Really?
Really?
I mean, how about this?
Yeah.
Can I give a few examples?
No, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying
I was
it's
gonna say,
good.
here,
I'm
hold
just
on.
saying it's not as bad.
2 examples that make me want to cry. Sanji's cigarette was replaced with a lollipop, and and the Navy, they're called Marines. In the show they're called Navy, and their guns were replaced with squirt guns.
Yep.
Yeah, because that's gonna scare everyone.
Oh, everything was changed with that show. Blood. There was actually a pirate. I forget where it was, but it was just some other pirate from one of the other ships, and he was black in the Japanese
Oh, and they
one.
changed
and
it.
They changed him to white. They gave him more of a pinkish white color
Which
skin.
makes no
Wow.
sense.
Racist.
All right, you know what? Yeah, but so that's how I got into anime.
Yeah. For myself, I guess the first time I saw anime was stuff like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh. I saw a little bit of One Piece.
Oh, yeah, I remember Yu-Gi-Oh.
But I didn't really understand it like that was Japanese animation. I just thought, oh, it's a cartoon.
Yeah.
And my sisters were actually big into, they read a lot of manga. They bought the entire collection of Sailor Moon, of all things. So they were quite into anime, and I didn't really care for it at the time. And then one day they brought home a little anime known as Full Metal Alchemist. I sort of saw that while I was walking through the living room. Yes, Jeremy? Never mind. Jeremy just waved his finger at me for no reason.
You gotta love Full Metal.
Brotherhood's better.
Well,
Oh, Brotherhood is,
God.
but the original one for what it did.
Oh, yeah.
It's still great. Like people still want to go back to that. I want to
I mean,
rewatch that.
in my opinion, I like it better.
Yeah.
but-
I liked the music work of the original one with when they were with Dante. That whoa, 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 or whatever that is. That just the whole background music of the original series was so much better than Brotherhood.
I don't know. I love Brotherhood, but basically at the time I thought anime was just like this thing, Sailor Moon, these sort of girly kiddie shows. And then I saw Fullmetal Alchemist, I was like, wow, this is actually interesting. There's some cool action, cool characters, stories, stuff like that.
Gore.
Exactly. And so then I sort of got into manga, and then from there into anime. And what about you, Keith?
Well, the first I saw was either Sailor Moon or Pokemon, and we had a running joke at my elementary school that the first anime you saw was Sailor Moon, the first good anime you saw was Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, yeah,
I
Dragon
re-
Ball
yeah.
Z.
That's ironic.
But I started really young. Like I watched Pokemon, I watched Digimon, I watched Dragon Ball Z. I started reading. I don't remember what I was reading, but I started reading the manga like when I turned like around the 10 or 11, and then I've just always watched since. And like my brother and I, we used to watch Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon every Saturday morning till Pokemon got awful, and then Yu-Gi-Oh just continued.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I remember hearing that like the voice actors for Jesse and James, were obviously on the show for seasons, years and stuff. And then like season 8 or something like that, they kicked them off and got in new voice actors. It's like, why? They were doing fine.
Then they got rid of the chick who's playing Ash got replaced too.
Oh, no.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, and they've made, like, Ash's voice lower now that... But
And he's gotten younger too. Remember that?
Wait, he's gotten younger?
Yeah.
What?
From what I've seen, he's actually gotten younger.
How?
Pikachu. It takes away all of his motor functions, but it makes him age backwards. Very slowly.
No. I understand, but what do you mean? What do you mean he's aged younger? Like, I don't understand.
I believe he's actually gone from being 11 to being 10.
How?
No, he was always 10.
Was he?
Was he?
Yeah.
I don't know.
knows?
We can't.
No, it's funny. I thought he was 13.
Who
Has
knows?
he
It's-
always been 10? What?
I'm pretty sure it's his mother was like, "Here, son, I don't
Oh,
want to
no,
take care
no.
of you
You're
anymore."
right. It is 10. Yeah.
It's the Pokemon mystery.
No. You are. I think it is. He started off when he was 10 years old. But the thing though is
And
that-
he's still 10. 10.
But
really.
How are you still 10 years old? It's been like how many years?
It's the Pikachu. I'm telling you right now.
I wonder
That
what-
Pikachu is like a human. It's like a Pokemon TARDIS.
It gives you immortality. I think
No, the TARDIS.
What?
Doctor Who. Doctor Who?
No, I know.
man.
I'm talking about Pikachu. I'm saying like Pikachu gives him immortality. No, but like, cause also like Misty, they show Misty. Misty looks like she's actually like she's changed. Ash doesn't
Do anything. He
change.
just stays.
He changes his hat.
He never goes through puberty.
It's the Pikachu. It's the only constant in the show.
And how old is
Not
Brock?
even the hat.
How old's
Not
Brock?
even the hat is a constant. Only the Pikachu.
And how old's Brock?
Like
You don't
17?
want to. We don't know because he won't open his eyes.
He won't open his eyes to the truth.
He's like a pedophile. Jeez.
No kidding.
He's
Well,
they're probably all like
Because-
hundreds of years old on that show.
Because hold on, here's the two things. Brock is hitting on like Nurse Joy and all of them, who are obviously adults. So if
There's Joy and
And
Officer Jenny.
so either
And they're a cloning project too, apparently.
So either Brock is the same age. He's not the same age, but like either Brock is around the same age as Ash, and he's hitting on adults, or Brock is an adult and he's hitting on. Or no, he's not hitting on. He's hanging out with like 10-year-olds.
I think it's pretty much implied right off the bat that he's actually he's
little
actually he's
older.
an adult.
Yeah,
Oh, that's true.
he has to be like at least 18.
He's like he's old enough to be a gym leader. And if you haven't, well, okay, ignoring some of the newer stuff.
Yeah, there's probably like aren't there little kids?
There are little kids as gym
Okay,
leaders.
yeah. So
Yeah. Well, we obviously need to do a Pokemon episode. You guys have a lot to say.
Yeah, we do.
yeah.
I don't know.
All right.
Most of my information comes from the game nowadays, not from the anime.
Yeah,
All
Oh,
right.
I won't touch it anymore at all.
yeah,
period.
same here.
Yeah. All right. And the next little bit we're going to do, just sort of go around the table again, and we're going to each name a manga, an anime, anime movie, I should say, and an anime TV show that we really think is good. I'll go first. As far as manga goes, I love manga. Fullmetal Alchemist is probably one of my favorites. With movies, I love Princess Mononoke, probably my favorite Ghibli movie, the anime we'll be discussing tonight. And for a TV show, I can really go anywhere. I love Fooly Cooly, I love Paranoia Agent, which is two very different anime, so I have a large range there.
Okay. I'll go next. Favorite manga? That would probably have to be Miyazaki's Nazca of the Valley of the Wind, which was done beforehand. I don't believe it was finished yet, but while he was making the movie. But if you ever get your hands on it or find it, buy it. It is a must-read. It's
sounds
masterpiece. Masterpiece in itself.
I love the movie, and you say the manga's even better.
The anime, the movie is nothing compared to the manga. The manga is like the holy grail. So for the next one, for favorite film, I'd probably have to go with Laputa Castle in the Sky, another Miyazaki work. And favorite television series, I'm going to go with Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Ooh, controversial.
Oh, I love that. Favorite anime.
Yeah. I like Ava in that, obviously the animation quality is superb, and it was telling sort of a darker story, but just how ridiculously emo and depressed Shinji is like all the time. He never gets better. He even gets worse as the series goes on. I can't stand it.
Especially when you get to the end of Evangelion.
That's
Hey, let's make sure to put spoilers.
Spoiler alert!
I mean, don't do that,
Everywhere!
Keith.
He didn't spike the mic, thankfully.
But yeah.
Yeah,
so,
no, we'll be careful with the spoilers.
Okay.
Trust me, Shinji starts whiny and stays whiny. That's not much of a spoiler.
Yeah, I
no,
know.
sorry,
I
he gets
know, I'm just-
whinier.
Yeah, but I'm just making
That's
sure.
why I'm hoping the rebuild films they're redoing his character a little bit better this time.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I've heard
I
those are
don't know.
good.
The second one was awesome.
Jeremy?
All right, here comes my first admission, and this might very well be enough to get me kicked out of the group. I've never read a manga in my life.
Okay. Well, I mean, I can see that. I mean,
By the same admission, I've never read a comic book in my life.
Ooh,
wait,
man.
like a
Oh,
manga?
that's a little...
No, he means comics in general.
Oh, just okay.
You never read what about a newspaper comic? Like
That's
Ziz?
different.
Okay,
of course
yeah.
I've read that.
Yeah.
I said
Oh,
a comic
okay.
book in general.
Okay, I'm just making sure you're not completely depressed.
Do you know what Snoopy is?
I'm gonna start throwing sharp objects at you.
Do you know what picture books are?
Okay. Hey, what's your favorite movie, Jeremy? Before you kill someone.
He's got a bloodlust in his eyes.
My God.
I will kill you all. No, if I had to say which one is my favorite movie, I'm gonna actually have to go with Castle in the Sky.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it is good. Definitely.
Okay.
And what about TV show?
See, that's a little harder because I actually like a couple TV shows, but I think my two favorite, I want to say, are Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Yep.
Great.
And the other one is Big O.
I've heard
Yes.
good
Yeah,
things.
I've heard a lot of stuff about it.
Big O, definitely number 2. Or maybe not number 2, but
Close.
it's up
Close.
there.
Right.
Very good.
Let's see. My favorite movie, or not my movie, my favorite manga would have to be One Piece. It's grown over the years. Let's see. My favorite movie would have to be Howl's Moving Castle. I love that movie. The characters in it are great. And then my favorite anime is definitely Gurren Lagann. I mean, it doesn't get much more epic than Gurren
It's
Lagann.
okay, you're Gainax.
No.
Welcome
Fist
to
of
the
the North
Gainax.
Star is arguably more epic.
I said doesn't get much more epic.
Any man, any mortal human being who can kick a tank at its pressure points and make it explode is clearly the greatest human being who has ever lived.
I'm sorry. What's the name of this again?
Fist of the North Star.
And this is an anime.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
it's cool,
I-
bro.
okay.
Kenshiro is so manly. You just become more manly just by watching this anime.
If this guy is kicking tanks,
In their pressure points.
I'll probably have to watch this.
And what about you, Keith?
Favorite. Does Advent Children count as a movie? for that?
No,
It's
no.
not animation.
Well,
Well, it's CG, I
still-
guess.
It's CG, but stick to anime. Stick to, like, drawing the...
You would like emo Cloud?
I like All Cloud.
So I guess you use the iTunes or the Apple iCloud then, don't you?
Oh no, not one bit. I hate technology.
Keep all right. So
Right.
movie.
Princess Mononoke, I guess, for movie.
Nice.
Okay, good choice.
For manga, I used to read a lot of Naruto. I used to get Shonen Jump every week for like 3 years.
Very nice.
And TV show, Dragon Ball Z or Gurren Lagann by far.
Oh yeah, those are both good choices.
Yeah. I don't know. I've read the entire Dragon Ball manga, and I don't like how in the anime, they just take it and put in so much filler and so much pause time.
That's why they made Dragon Ball Z Kai. That's...
I know.
I thought they just did that so 4Kids could make another horror story.
Oh, no, 4Kids didn't get to touch that.
No, actually,
No.
Dragon Ball Z Kai is really, really
What am
good.
I thinking? Am I thinking of GT?
And the
Yes.
Yeah.
Vegeta's
GT was
voice is
awful.
so good.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen some of Kai, and it is good, but even then, it still drags a little bit. I think
Yeah.
the manga is really well paced.
I've never read the manga, but I feel like it'd be weird because one of the reasons why I like Dragon Ball Z is because of all the action, and in the manga, obviously there's action, but there's not like the animation of the like pew
Yeah.
pew pow.
I guess, but it's like One Piece. You don't see Luffy, moving, but it still looks awesome
Actually,
when
I-
he punches somebody.
Yeah, you're
Oh,
right.
yeah.
I guess the whole reason I don't like Dragon Ball Z is because what it boils down to is my mind is big burly monkey men screaming at each other.
Yeah.
It's like if I wanted to see this, I could go to a zoo or I could go to like a monster truck rally or something.
Where they go, ah.
That's
Go to
very true.
Concord.
All right, and next we're gonna have a short little news segment led by Matt. He's our resident anime news expert.
Oh, yes. Love to keep up on that anime news. So, as most of you have probably heard, or if not yet, some news over the American side of the industry is that Bandai Entertainment is downsizing to the point that they will not be releasing any new titles in the United States.
Now, Matt, what does this mean?
This means you need to get your butt moving if you still want to buy titles such as The Big O, Cowboy Bebop, Gurren Lagann, Eureka 7. Any title that's done by Bandai, you better go buy it because prices are already jumping up.
Now, I would like to point out, we talked about this a little bit before the podcast. If you still want it in Japanese, you can still get it even after Bandai goes out. But the thing though is that
you'd have to get the Blu-ray.
Exactly.
And you'd have to import it. But still, with the Bandai Entertainment discs, you're still getting an English dub. You're getting some extras that are translated in English. So it's still a better idea to go buy.
Yeah,
Bandai.
go get it now. I highly suggest it. But what I'm saying is it's not like once they're gone, it's not like the whole anime is gone. It's just the English part of it,
And depending on how well that series did, there's probably a good chance someone else will pick it up.
Because I can almost guarantee Gurren Lagann is not going to die.
Probably
ever.
Not. But some of those older titles, such as like The Big O or The Vision of Escaflowne, a bunch of other older titles that might not necessarily have that great light of day, they're going to go down in the dark. So if you want them and brag about them in the future, now's the time to buy them.
All right, good.
So,
All right.
Thank you, Matt.
thank you.
Very nice. And now we'll move on to, we'll be doing a little weekly manga recap. As far as manga goes, I keep up with the big three, One Piece, Naruto, and Bleach.
So you keep up with Shonen Jump.
Pretty much. Yeah, I haven't gotten into like the other ones like Toriko I've heard of and Fairy Tail.
I've heard
stuff like
Toriko's
that.
really good.
Yeah, I've heard good things about it.
It's very I've read it and it is very strange.
That was Keith, I think.
It is a very strange anime, but then again, or not anime, manga. But then again, the thing though is that it's no more stranger than One Piece. I mean, let's be completely honest.
Right.
But for as an example, in the manga, they find these apples, and the way you make them riper is that you scare them. They have faces on there. They have faces, and if you scare them enough, like their faces, like if you don't scare them, their face is just blank. But then if you scare the crap out of them, their face all of a sudden like it's a really terrified expression. So yeah, it's
That's
a little
so stupid. It makes sense.
yeah. So it's really and like I said, the more scared they get, the riper they are. So they're more delicious if they're scared.
There are so many ways
That
you
could
can
be
take
taken
that
so
wrong.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm not the only one who should be able to see it right now.
Okay, but so basically what I'm saying is it's pretty strange.
Okay. But would you say to definitely check it out?
I would say check it out. It might not be your cup of tea, but it's definitely interesting.
Especially if you're a vegetarian.
Yeah.
Since isn't the idea of let's go hunt the monster down and kill it to make it a meal?
Yeah, it's basically this guy's trying to find like the best meal,
Right.
that
Well,
kind of thing.
it can't be as bad as that one show, if anyone remembers that back in the day, aired on like Kids WB.
I remember
Fighting
it.
Foodons.
I
No,
remember.
don't.
Oh my god, yeah.
No, it's like Pokemon meets a pothead's dream. Yeah, after we're done fighting our mans, then we can eat them.
Oh, in the mail this one time, I don't know why, but we got like a CD full of all the songs, like the theme songs for all of those shows. Fighting Foodons was one of them.
Wow.
I just remember that show just being so like horrifyingly bad.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it did terrible.
Gee, I wonder why. It's an obvious Pokemon ripoff.
It was only 26 episodes too, so it didn't last too long.
Really?
Yep, only 26. It didn't last very long.
It was supposed to go longer too, folks. Just remember that.
And for good reason. Yeah, so obviously there are going to be spoilers in this section, so if you don't want to be spoiled, you skip ahead a little bit.
I wish I could.
Okay.
I don't want to know Naruto stuff.
All right.
I'm kidding, it's fine.
Yeah. I will.
Am I interrupting you enough yet?
Oh, no, that's fine, Keith. You just keep on interrupting.
Keep going, Keith.
Gosh.
Freaking idiot.
But no, the One Piece chapter for this week, nothing all that important happened.
Fan service.
Yeah, some fan service. Essentially, they just moved through the sea. Matt is dying over here.
Spoilers!
And now they're in the new world. So basically, one chapter, the author of the manga, Oda, got them from the Fishman Island up to the new world. So the second half of One Piece is going to start.
And so that's pretty much what happened. But one thing in that chapter that I found very interesting was the fact that Nami's taking a shower, and Chopper is like talking to her, and she doesn't care. and then like Brooke and Sanji look over and they see her, and then she strikes them with like one of her thunder tempos, and they get struck with lightning. But like, so she's fine with Chopper looking, but then when some of the other guys look, it's so like I'm very confused. Like, so basically she doesn't consider Chopper like a guy,
well,
even though he is technically.
But
like,
he's part animal too, so I guess he doesn't have the same feelings for Nami that they would.
I guess, yeah. Yeah, okay, go for it, Jeremy. What do you want to say, Jeremy?
No. There's nothing I could say here that would bring any justice to what's coming through my horrible little mind right now.
But yes, so basically that whole chapter, no, not the whole chapter, but the beginning of the chapter was very, it was just screaming fan service.
Yeah, pretty much.
But it was a good chapter nonetheless. I mean, it was interesting.
Yeah, and then there's no Bleach chapter this week. He basically just finished up an arc, and I guess he took a bit of a break before starting up again. Yeah.
Coming up next in Bleach, filler.
More filler.
Yeah. I think that's more in the anime than the manga, but even the manga is pretty bad at times.
But see, I don't know, like the manga, I don't know. I've been collecting it, and it's like, do I really want to collect any more? Do I want to just stop? Go to Mamby-Pamby Land and say, it ended here, there's nothing past this, it was all magical rainbows, and that's it.
The bounce arc happened, just deal with
it did not. Oh, trust me, if I ever buy the anime, it'll be episodes 1 through 63. Not past. Not gonna dare.
At first, I was collecting the One Piece mangas, but I like reading them online because, let's be honest, if you collected all the manga chapters for like Bleach, One Piece, Naruto, any of those, you'd be buying like upwards of like 100
Oh, but still,
books.
like I would love to do that one day. I mean,
I'm fine reading it online. I'm perfectly fine with that. I mean, I can see the
collector,
the collector's side of it.
That's who you're talking to.
Okay.
I'm the collector buddy. I'm I'm going to OhioCon this weekend. You know where I'm heading?
You're gonna be spending so much money.
I'm taking 200. I am taking $200, and it's not coming
That won't
back.
be enough.
Oh, I know it won't, but
Yeah.
still.
Yeah, personally, I prefer like reading something physical, like the actual volume books. But when they're not out, online works great for that.
Okay, so what about Naruto?
Yeah, essentially with Naruto, a long-awaited event finally happened where basically the Nine Tails agreed to give Naruto all of his power. And so basically this is a pretty epic chapter where Naruto showed off what he can do now in his new powerful chakra mode or whatever. So it'll be interesting to see where it goes from here.
Who's he fighting right now?
Right now he's fighting all the other, like, what do you want to call them? The tailed beasts that Toby has sort of...
Chinchuri?
Yeah, that Toby has captured, and he's leading them all, essentially.
I'm sorry, I'm not really a Naruto reader or watcher, but basically what I just heard was Dragon Ball Z, except with screaming ninjas instead of screaming monkeys.
Screaming ninjas that don't have a fashion sense. Screaming little whiny ninjas.
Sort of, yeah.
I feel like a horrible snob right
Yeah,
now.
I'm
I really
sorry,
don't care.
Yeah.
No, Naruto.
Naruto and flashbacks. That's a story.
See, it's funny because I actually didn't like Naruto the series very much, but then I started watching a little bit of Shippuden, and I like it. I like the way they took that direction, and it's pretty interesting. I haven't really kept myself up to date, but I mean, from what I saw, it doesn't look bad. So
I'm sticking with One Piece. And
I prefer One Piece.
Yeah, One Piece.
And I'm watching it. I'm not reading it. I'm watching it.
Yeah.
I'm still back on Skypiea. That's why I'm like, spoiler.
Yeah, well, I mean, but let's be honest, we knew that they were going to get that far. I mean, honestly, you didn't really learn anything new other than they get to the next world.
Oh, I know. One thing that I really want to do with One Piece is I want to be that one guy who says, I've seen every single episode.
Oh, yeah, which... I'm one of those guys.
Marc's that guy.
Alex, you've seen all the episodes.
I haven't actually watched all the episodes of the anime. I've read
I should talk to you then about
every manga chapter.
Yeah, I've seen all the shows, and I've read almost. Well, no, I have not read every manga chapter, but I've.
But are you up to date with the current simulcast of One Piece?
Yes.
Yeah. They do?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been watching those as well. Speaking of which, we have a little segment here just about anime that we watched over the course of this week, not including the discussion anime, which for this week is Princess Mononoke. So has anyone seen any good anime?
I'm gonna be able to start pronouncing it right eventually, but Durarara. Yeah.
I want to see that.
It actually, I've missed a couple of episodes, so I'm not totally certain what's going on. But even that, it's a very interesting story because it's not just people beating each other senseless.
I've heard that, but I've heard in the middle of the series that's where it really it hits a rough spot, and then it just I've heard a lot of people who go halfway into it and then they just stop. They don't.
I don't know. I don't know if I've hit the half point yet.
But like I've only seen one episode, and the one thing I've seen that really interests me but really confused me at the same time is like there's this woman who like has no head.
Yep.
And it's just like
she's what the show is named after.
It's like a black.
She's a Doulahan. Although I've always kind of wondered why they just happened to pick a random Irish or Scottish. I forget. That's not good considering I'm both of those. But you know, that's a story for a different day. Anywho, it's a random UK spirit.
Spoiler.
It's not really a spoiler. It's like in the second episode that they say it.
Third. I was watching it.
Okay, but anyways, it's an interesting, odd, but
if you like it, I recommend Bakano.
Action-packed show. I want to see all these shows. I saw your review on the blog, which everyone should go check out.
Yes.
I read your review and I really like. Even before reading your review, I've heard about it. And it looks really good.
Like have you seen Goodfellas? If you love the mafia kind of thing,
which
this is
do.
Perfect. I mean, it's not completely focused on it, but it definitely does a good job. At the first episode, it won't pull you in because the first episode's all about, well, who should be the main character? And they debate about the whole first episode, who's going to be the main character, showing all these different people. And then they're like, he's sort of main character-ish. But in the end, you really don't have a main character. It's basically 16 characters, which is your roughly main cast, and then you have all these other roles. And it was very good. You really wish there's more in the end.
Cool.
Yeah. I've only seen like the first 3 or 4 episodes, but
yeah, you'd have to rewatch because that's not a good.
It's a very confusing anime because it's structured non-linearly.
Alex, what have you watched this week, if anything?
I watched a little bit of the most recent One Piece simulcast episode. That was pretty good.
Now, hold on. I'm sorry. What do you mean? What do you guys mean when you say simulcast?
Basically, there's a website that Funimation runs. I think it's called OnePieceOfficial.com. And there as soon as the episode is released in Japan, the new episodes, right now they're on the Fishman Island arc.
Yeah.
They release them basically simultaneously with the Japanese release with English subtitles. So you can watch it legally right online, like as soon as it's out in Japan.
What would that website be?
Yeah, it's OnePieceOfficial.com.
Okay.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
I've watched, let's see. Well, I watched the latest One Piece anime. And really, that's about it. I mean, I watch a lot of anime, but unless there's something that really, really interests me, I'll watch, like a bunch of stuff. Like, this isn't really an anime, but I've been really caught up with Firefly.
Yep, I'm watching Firefly too. How far are you in right now?
Episode 8.
Oh, which one?
It's right after, Mrs.
Okay, yeah, you're close to the next few episodes are really good.
Yeah, okay, so I'll have to keep watching. But anyways, sorry, that's not anime.
Yeah, that's not anime.
But it's very good. I highly suggest it. So I've been caught up with that.
Cowboy Bebop. A lot of if you look online, a lot of people say it's Cowboy Bebop-ish, or it's got that feel to it.
Yeah, but see,
just less music based.
But my problem is that Cowboy Bebop is, it's not bad. It's not. I haven't even seen it, so I can't judge it. But it looks old.
It is older.
And I feel weird watching older.
Do not look down your nose at Cowboy Bebop.
No,
Bebop is absolutely spectacular.
The movie, I guess the way to see if you're gonna like Cowboy Bebop is watch the movie, because the movie is like a perfect, like a little bit longer than an episode. It gets you introduced to the characters. I mean, granted, it's between like episodes 23 and 24 if you slide it in somewhere, but really recommend the movie.
So here, Jeremy, I'm going to ask you this now. Even if older animation slightly bothers me, it's not going to deter from the...
Not even slightly. I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm not usually a big fan of dubs all the time, mostly because I've lived through some of the most horrible dubs out there. This Cowboy Bebop, first off, has some of the best dub acting I've ever heard in an anime, bar none. The storylines are very interesting. The characters are interesting. Everything about it's a very good show, and there's also a very strong music basis in the show, so you might want to pay attention to that.
Every episode's like a different genre of music.
Wow.
Yeah. I have. Go ahead,
Keith?
Oh, Steve Blum is the main character for that show, right?
Yeah, and actually, spoiler here, one of Spike's, near the end of the series, he'll say bang, because he always says that. Steve Blum, who actually played played his voice, actually took that file, the music file, of that when he said bang, and got it actually tattooed on his arm from when he said bang, because that was the best anime role he's ever played. He says he's ever played.
Nice.
So
That's really cool.
That is cool.
I love him.
I haven't actually seen like all the episodes of Cowboy Bebop. I've just seen little clips of it. And one thing that really stands out to me is I believe it's in the movie. There's like a fight scene at the end, basically a fist fight between Spike and the villain, and it's just so beautifully animated. Like it's so fluid.
Yeah,
I love watching it.
Keith, was there something you were gonna say?
Oh, I wanted to know what your guys' favorite voice actors are.
Ooh.
Steve Blum.
I gotta remember his name. I want to say it's Crispin Freeman, maybe.
Yeah, Crispin Freeman.
Yeah, that's right.
I believe he voices Alucard in Hellsing Ultimate, and his voice is just so deep and sexy.
For your
it's so
voice,
dark. I
I'd
love
probably
it.
have to go with like Steve Blum as well. Also, Jameson Price. He plays the Big Ear. That's in Big O, the guy talks to the gives Roger the information. He plays a lot of miscellaneous roles. If anyone's ever played the Dot Hack GU games, he is the main one of the main characters. Ovon, love his voice to death. So
Now, you guys might have to help me out with this. Hopefully, one of you guys will know this. The guy that plays, he does the voice of, Mayhew's in
Full
Metal.
I think it's Mike McFarlane.
And
I don't know.
and the reason why I like him is because he voices my favorite character in Full Metal, and he voices Usopp from One Piece.
I'm pretty sure it's Mike McFarlane. I'm almost dead on certain it's him.
Okay, either that's him or we're just mistaken. But whoever that actor is my favorite. I just love because Mayhew's and Usopp are so different characters, but the way he does each of their voices it just fits perfectly. So I love that guy.
Sorry to interject here, but I do actually have a second favorite actor, but I can't think of his name. It's the guy. He does the voice of Bato in Ghost in the Shell.
Oh yeah, he's pretty good.
Because I'm not sure of this, but I almost want to say he also voices Jet in
Oh, that's probably very true because
their voices are very. I could certainly be wrong, and I'm going to be kicking myself later if I am. But I think they're probably the same voice actor because their voices are so similar.
Yep, I bet you're right with that. That sounds pretty close.
It's a really cool voice too for those characters.
Because Bandai did both of those dubs, so that would make sense if they're using the same voice actor.
That's actually really surprising because Bandai unfortunately has a record for subpar items, and then you get stuff like that, and it's like, wow.
Luckily, that actually the Ghost in the Shell releases, they aren't being affected by Bandai's downsizing. They're actually being picked up by Manga Entertainment.
That's good.
I guess Manga had a little bit of a deal with producing that, so it's just getting shoved over to them. But as far as anime watching this week, I haven't really watched anything. Like I said, I've been watching Firefly, and the last series I did finish was Princess Jellyfish.
Sounds interesting.
It's a bit more of a girly show. It's basically the main premise of the show is you have these girls who are about in their 30s who don't have jobs, and they just live all together in this boarding house.
So it's Sex in the City.
No, well, actually, believe it or not, the opening credits actually do a reference to that Sex in the City. It also does a reference to Rain Man. They do Star Wars, they show Star Wars in the beginning and Mary Poppins. It's all in the opening credits. It's like I said, it's more of a girly show, but basically the idea is that their home's going to get torn down, and they need to try to help and protest to save it, but they're all phobic of going out to the real world. One girl has this afro, and she loves trains. It's really
What?
No, it's seriously afro. It looks like a boy. Another girl's like obsessed with dolls, and this other one's obsessed with some Chinese story. I forget what it was called, like the Three Kingdoms or something. It just like spouts all this nonsense about that. And the main character, Tsukimi, something like that. Tsukimi. She loves jellyfish. She draws them. She's actually the youngest of the group. She's only like 18.
Okay.
While everyone else is 30, and she meets this crossdresser. And yeah, you don't know it's a crossdresser until like the second episode, but it's only 11 episodes.
Spoilers.
Well, it's not that big of a spoiler.
Okay, yeah, I know.
I will say it's very good, but it does leave you off on a huge cliffhanger, and the manga is not available over here, so the only way to find it is if you find the translation.
All right, well, sounds a little strange, but, we'll
definitely worth a try.
We'll have to check it out.
Yeah.
Moving on.
And, we need to give Keith his turn.
Oh, well, hey, moving on to Keith. Keith,
very
have you
nice.
watched any anime?
Oh, sounds like he was away.
Hey,
What?
hey, Keith,
What?
have you watched any anime?
Recently?
Sorry, I was away.
Yeah, we figured.
Yeah. Yeah, I for the first time in like 3 years since it aired on TV, I watched Death Note.
Oh, that's a good show.
How was
Which-
that?
It reminded me of when I first watched it on TV and how like I would go to great lengths with my parents to like try and watch something. So they thought it was like the most disturbing thing they've ever seen.
It is
But
pretty
I
dark.
watched-
It's pretty, it's understandable.
Darker title.
Yeah, but for every week for like the year it aired, I sat down every Saturday night at like 10:30, I think, and watched that show. That is one of the only like 3 or 4 anime that I've seen all the way through.
Yeah, I will just say that the soundtrack to that show is pretty amazing. It has some of the most epic music I've ever heard.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
For sure.
Yeah.
All right. Now we're going to move on to the meat of the show. We're going to be discussing an anime every show. And for this week, we're going to be talking about Princess Mononoke, one of Studio Ghibli's films. I believe it was released in 1997 in Japan and 99 in the U.S. And Matt, you said that this was the first anime that you actually saw, so it obviously...
Well, the first anime that I recognized, actually the first one I saw was Kiki's Delivery Service back in the day. But like you said, when you were introduced into animation as a younger kid, it was just a cartoon. You didn't refer to it, oh, that's anime.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Princess Mononoke. What else is there to say about that? Well, there's lots to say about it, obviously, but I think it's one of his better works. Like I said, Laputa is my favorite story. So,
yeah, one of the reasons I really like Mononoke is because it's like Laputa and Nausicaa are sort of fantastical journeys,
Fantasy.
and fantasy oriented. They have quite a bit of action in them and stuff. But Mononoke is really his most like as far as like epic, sweeping, fantastical worlds and big wars and action and stuff. Yeah. Mononoke is his best so far.
The thing I really liked about Mononoke, I think more than anything else, it really it didn't put anyone in a truly negative light. The bounty hunters, the King's Men, they're put in a more negative light than everyone else is. But ultimately, it doesn't show Irontown as being evil. It doesn't show the forest as being evil. It just shows them as two different opposing forces that need to survive and see the opposite as a obstacle to their survival. I really appreciate that because unlike a lot of stories, and
it's that classic good versus solid evil.
Yes, and usually nature is light and pure and good, and anyone who would dare industrialize and try to improve their quality of life is evil.
Go ahead, Mark.
One thing that's kind of funny is that on the DVD case for Princess Mononoke, it says the Star Wars of animation. And it's kind of funny because when you say that, I was immediately thinking of Star Wars with the fact that there is the good and the evil. But Princess Mononoke is actually the opposite of that because there is no straight good and straight evil.
And even the end of the film where...
Ashitaka
Yeah,
and San.
Ashitaka and San. He says, I'm going to go back to Irontown. I'm going to go help them rebuild. And she's like, no, I'm not going to go there. But he's like, that's okay. Meaning you have to respect each other's differences, but you can still work together. That harmony. You need this and you need that.
Right. They may not be friends, but they can at least live in peace.
Yes.
And one of the things I think you're really right, Jeremy. I've always thought that James Cameron really needed to watch that movie, because if he was able to bring that sort of more gray moral tint to both sides, the natures versus the humans. If he was able to bring that into Avatar, I think it would have been a far superior
Let's not
movie.
get into Space Pocahontas right now.
Yeah, well, seriously.
I can see where you're going there, Alex, though. If he had tried a little bit more, but one of the things that Avatar has is it had all the emotions of what was kind of going on in the world, and more to vent that frustration a little bit, because, obviously the war against the Pocahontas, whatever you call it.
The Na'vi, I think.
The Na'vi. It's...
Ooh.
Oh.
We just had a little technical thing there.
Okay,
all right.
sounds good.
That sounds... Oh, there it goes again.
I'm still here.
Okay,
all right.
Well,
Keith's still with us.
A little technical difficulty, but it sounds good now.
But yeah, like
I'll fill.
Yep, go ahead,
Like
Keith.
I was saying, it's just... Avatar could really benefit, but like the war in Iraq and all that, those kind of themes were really thrown into the film, or that's what I got out of it. It's just a lot of anger towards why are we in this other country? Why are we? It screamed a lot of what was going on in modern day.
I think what really annoyed me about Avatar is that it took my suspension of disbelief. Didn't so much make me suspend it. It's more like I had to kill it, bury it, and then forget it ever existed.
Oh, you hated it that much?
I didn't hate it. Never said I hated it. It's just that I can suspend my disbelief pretty well. I like silly movies, but there's a point where it's just like, wait a minute. There's multiple gaping plot holes that are devouring the entire story.
Yeah, that's one thing. Mononoke is pretty self-contained in that regard.
That was one of the biggest things I noticed about it. Before I had seen Mononoke, I had seen some not bad, but not as good anime. A lot of the plot was not as well explained, so it seemed like there was parts of it that just happened out of nowhere, or things just changed for no apparent reason. Mononoke, everything makes sense. Everything's tied. Well, for the most part, it's all tied into itself. Everything leads up to something. I guess what I'm trying to say is that it's a good story.
Yeah.
Definitely. Now, originally, when that was coming over here, that wasn't going to necessarily be the case. Disney, which owns all the rights to Studio Ghibli works, originally wanted to edit that and cut it down and fix it, because when they were going to put in theaters, and which it did go in theaters, it was PG-13, and Disney's like, whoa, no, we can't do that. PG-13, no. Which is why it's under the Miramax line, which is actually owned by Disney.
I'm very surprised it was just rated PG-13, only because... I mean,
it's pretty gory.
Yeah. Do you remember when the guy shoots the arrows? He cuts the guy's arm off, and the other guard is like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And then he gets his head shot off with an arrow.
Don't. Hey, you know what? Demon powers. There you go.
Yeah.
That's a hand wave I can live with. No, but here's the thing you got to remember though. That's not even PG-13 for a cartoon. It may seem like a lot. I'm using the word cartoon here because sometimes I just don't bother to differentiate, because in my mind, animation is animation.
Yeah.
Right.
But when it comes right down to it, I've seen R-rated I'm probably the only person here who might have actually ever seen the movie Heavy Metal. There's a reason that it's animated, and there's a good reason it's rated R.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah. No, but I see what you're saying.
Well,
I mean, I've never seen it, but I can imagine what would make it so bad.
Now, luckily, the reason that didn't happen is because Ghibli said, no, you're going to show this film in its entirety, or you're not going to do it at all.
And they're like, well, okay.
Well, because previously, this actually aired on HBO back in the 80s. It was a edited version of Nausicaa, and it was called Warriors of the Wind. It was a complete scrap of they completely scrapped the original story that they had gotten from Japan. They cut it up, they changed scenes around, they changed characters' names, and it was this ugly monster that actually aired on HBO, in cycles, and I think it still airs on sometimes if you find it.
Do people watch it?
I don't know. But yeah, it's one of the things that Ghibli wants to hide in the closet.
Yeah.
It's an old shame, but it's one of those movies. It's kind of like the Star Wars Christmas special. You get drunk with your friends and make fun of it. Really the only way to enjoy it.
Yeah, well, Lucas has since gone on to say, like, burn every copy of that thing you find.
It'll never happen.
Yeah.
It's hit the internet. It's too late.
Yeah,
Keith?
really.
Keith, do you have anything to add?
I think we lost Keith.
Keith, are you still with us?
I'll go ahead and check on Keith here real quick.
All right. Well,
why don't you guys keep talking about Mononoke? One thing I thought that was really interesting, I read this book about Mononoke, and it said that they had, I believe it was 144,000 animation cells for just the one movie, which seems like a ridiculous number.
Oh yeah, it's definitely one of Miyazaki's most heavy worked films.
It shows. It's really impressive.
Oh, it is. Actually, believe it or not, the next film that Miyazaki wants to come out is actually it's a lot higher than that. It's actually going to be the biggest, longest film that Ghibli's going to supposedly ever do if it doesn't get any cuts.
Well, and I was surprised because Princess Mononoke is pretty old, and when I watched it, I was not, like I said, older animation kind of bothers me. Not necessarily because it looks bad, but just
I know what you're saying about Cowboy Bebop, but the difference between Cowboy Bebop and a lot of the other ones, it looks that way on purpose. It really does. They could have used a much less ink-heavy style. It could have looked a lot brighter, but they stuck with that style on purpose because it works better with the setting.
Yeah, but so basically what I'm saying is that even though older animation bothers me a little bit, I was not deterred when I saw Princess Mononoke because it
brighter.
Looks and it still looks pretty nice.
I will agree with you. It looks wonderful. Now, there is one other thing in Mononoke that I really, really liked, and I don't think I see this enough in anime. It actually showed a strong female character, and I'm not talking about, wow, I can't even remember her name now. I'm having a brain fart. San, yeah. It's not San. It's, Lady Ibuki. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's a strong female character without coming off as a horrible, horrible human being. She is strong-willed, she cares about her people, and she's willing to get her hands dirty. However, she's not evil. That's a reoccurring problem with a lot of female characters in anime who come off as strong. See also Angel Cop.
All right. Hey, Keith, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
All right, cool. Do you have anything to add?
We thought we'd lost you there.
Yeah, it went really fuzzy for a while there.
All right.
I like how what was the bounty hunter's name?
Jibo, something like that. I want to say the
Scary
guy.
little monk guy. Is I think what I call him.
The guy who's in charge of the bad guys, essentially.
Yeah, I recognized his voice immediately, and then it took me a little bit, and then I was like, oh my god, that's Billy Bob Thornton.
Yep.
And then I checked online, I'm like, I can't believe they let someone as crass and ridiculously vulgar as Billy Bob Thornton voice his character.
You see, now I have to see the dub of this because I've never seen the dub. I've only seen the sub.
Seen the dub?
Yeah, that's what I watched. I watched the dub.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, the dub has a mini Pinkett Driver, or what's her name? I don't know. It has a lot. It's a big. They really wanted to try to put a lot of A-stream actors to get this film out there. It still didn't do it justice. It still did terrible in the box office.
The dub's not bad though.
Oh
yeah,
no,
the dub's
great.
very good.
I'd also just like to tell all of our listeners right now, we may not sound it, but we're not completely incompetent when it comes to this sort of thing. No one can just remember the names tonight, I guess.
Yeah, we don't know exactly all the characters' names. And, oh, shoot. There's something I was going to mention. Somebody mentioned that Mononoke, I forgot what I was going to say.
Okay, then. Moving along. There is one problem I think I had with Mononoke. They basically say that they're clearing a path straight to the mountain for the iron through the forest. This is something I had to wonder about. Why didn't they just mine underneath the forest since it was obviously causing such a major loss of life?
I don't know. Maybe they don't have the technology to go underneath it.
They have a
Pick
furnace. They have guns. They have industrialization going on. I think they might have the technology
They
to
had
mine.
freaking rockets.
That is true.
Like, if you have the technology for, like, because it didn't even look like gunpowder. Like, did you see when they shot the rockets? They were like, what color were they? Were they like blue or something?
It looked like they were shooting mortar rounds out of a giant rifle. Don't get me wrong, it's really cool. Speaking of the sub, has anyone else here seen it?
No.
I'm gonna say this right now. I don't know if this is true for the dub, but in the sub, the first time you see the ape men, you know how all you see is just their shadow. Well, that's the first time you hear them start talking. Anyway, they have the creepiest voice I've ever heard in anything. It's so low, and it's just like it's like this horrible voice. When you read what they're saying, it's like going, "Oh my god."
Okay, don't imitate it, but like, is there any kind of equivalent that you can think of in like American culture?
Let me think about that for a second. I want to say, think about James Earl Jones, no Darth Vader voice modulator. Think about him talking in a monotone in Japanese.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see that being kind of creepy.
And imagine him saying, "Give us the man, we want to eat his flesh."
I didn't think the dub did it that bad. I mean, it was still a real low tone.
Yeah, it was very deep.
I don't even think I can go that. Like,
No, I couldn't hit that. I was real. I mean, don't get me wrong. I was impressed. But when I first heard it, it's like going, okay.
Start
Although
backing away from the screen.
I did see some like Japanese trailers online for it, and when the animals talked in that. It sounded like there was no filters or anything on their voices, but in the English one, they do sort of put a thing on it that makes it sound sort of unearthly. I actually kind of like that better.
Yeah, that's not totally true. The wolf Mono, the big female wolf, the god wolf.
Yep.
In the sub, it's very unearthly, and when you find out that it's supposed to be female, you start scratching your head.
okay, yeah, the English one, it's distinctively female.
Oh, I mean,
Makes you question?
Oh yeah, you're not
Gender bending?
Not even that. It's like there's
like you don't know what gender it is.
no. They're saying that Mono is female, and I'm just sitting there going, that's not a female voice. Not even
Okay,
slightly.
so it sounds more male.
But it doesn't sound like a natural voice either.
yeah.
So what did you think, just to take another point from the film, about the lepers? The idea that Lady Eboshi, she brought in...
Yeah, well, for me, like, when we're talking about, both sides sort of being redeemable in some fashion, for me, that's Lady Eboshi's, redeemable factor. She actually cares for her people, cares for these lepers.
And then the women who are all in the
factory.
No, it wasn't described as the factory.
It's the refinery.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're there, but where they were before.
Oh, they're from the brothels.
The brothels, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, she's a very redeemable character, and honestly, because of that, I have a harder time identifying with nature because I understand the whole protection thing. But when you see their leader, the creator, you're just like thinking, you start thinking to yourself, wow, this guy's a real jerk.
Well, that's one of the things that's interesting is like you expect, they talk so much about this, the god of the forest. And when he finally reveals himself, you're like, okay, now he's going to heal everything and make it better. But when he heals Ashitaka of like his gun wound, but doesn't heal his demon mark. And then at the end, he shows he's like the god of life and of death. I kind of like the dual balance because he kills the wolf and the boar instead of like magically healing them.
No, but even beyond that, he comes off as just a grade A jerk most of the time. I understand he's a god of life and death, but he doesn't seem to be a very rational god of life and death. He seems to like the death part a lot more than he likes the life part.
I suppose. But then he doesn't get, he's not directly involved in the fight or anything, The animals want, where's our dear god? He's supposed to save us, and he doesn't, he just...
That didn't bother me as much. The one thing, though, I couldn't help but do was when he starts stretching his neck out when he starts to become the Nightwalker. I know someone said no memes, but I gotta say, nope.
Very nice. Yeah, I love that bit actually at the end where he turns into the Nightwalker and then he goes all crazy, looking for his head and everything's dying and all that. That's a really nice climax.
I think what bothered me though after the climax is when Sen starts complaining about the fact that it's not his forest anymore. It still is. He just killed most of it is all. I'm sure it makes sense to somebody out there. I mean, and I know that there's some deep.
Well, just think he helped.
Beating to it.
He helped Irontown being able to He tore all the forest for them.
Yeah, he kind of did their job for him.
No kidding. And one other thing we're going to do on the podcast is just talk about sort of debates in the anime industry, whether it's dubs versus subs, fan service, stuff like that. And for this particular episode, we want to talk about...
Hey, Keith?
Yeah.
Keith, what you doing?
I'm hanging a poster. Why is it too loud?
We can hear it.
Okay, yeah, we can hear it.
Yeah.
Just letting you know.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. Continue, Alex. Sorry.
Yeah. Just sort of the 2D versus 3D animation thing, because this was Ghibli's first movie in which they used both 2D animation as well as the computer graphics stuff. Like, I think the stuff with the demon, like slugs on his arm, that's
Let's
all CG.
not bring that back up. That was the one part of the movie I didn't like.
It was too much for you?
There's dark places they could have gone with that, and I'm sure someone online went with dark places with that.
Yeah, so what's your guys' stance? Personally, for me, like, I love 3D animation, like the stuff that Pixar does, and movies that are more movies that are coming out of American animation studios are in 3D, this 3D animation. But there's something about the 2D animation that has a certain like class and tradition to it.
Oh yeah.
Of course, it just looks better because that it took. There was. Don't get me wrong.
That time, the effort.
The same thing could be said about something like Toy Story 3. There was an insane amount of time put into Toy Story 3. You also know, though, there's also an insane amount of time in hand drawing and animating it. And both are incredibly impressive.
So what do you think of maybe not necessarily films that use this, but TV series where you can blatantly tell the car is 3D and it's a really nasty 3D?
That's just lazy.
Where it's like 2D and where they have them... It's like a hybrid, and you see the parts of it in 3D.
Are you talking about Transformers Armada?
Well, wasn't that all 3D?
Oh
no.
I remember what you're talking about. I don't like that when they try and mix both. No.
Well, there's even a lot of modern anime that do that.
Now this is good because I actually like this. I don't even know if this is like considered that, but if you guys have ever seen or heard of this new show on Cartoon Network called The Amazing World of Gumball.
I hate that show.
Oh wait, have you?
It's so ridiculously
I've seen it.
stupidly funny.
Yeah, I know. But like, I think even if the show itself like isn't that great, what I think is interesting is the fact that like they have hand drawn characters and then they have like a real life background, and I don't.
Yeah, that's.
See what I'm saying?
And some of the characters are also like puppets. And the whole thing is, the whole show is supposed to be just a mishmash of random ideas. Some people think it works. I personally don't. It's not my thing.
You guys might not like it. Personally, I think it's pretty good. But I don't know. I mean,
well, what about Adventure Time? I don't like that show.
Oh, I love Adventure Time.
I can't get enough of it.
I respect it that it's all hand drawn and there's not really there's no 3D in it at all. I don't believe.
No, I don't think so.
Nope.
I love that there's no 3D, but it's just not the show for me.
I love how random it is. I love how random it is. I like how they have Billy West as the dog Jake. I'm pretty sure it's Billy West. If I said that wrong, someone's gonna bite my head off for it. I'm sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Keith is the dog, apparently.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah, well, like when you were talking about sort of mixing the 2D animation, 3D animation, I thought of that one show, Tiger and Bunny. It's a new anime.
Oh yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that's interesting because it's like when they're in the superhero outfits and stuff, it's all 3D. But
there's elements when they are 2D, like if they have the mask or something up, you can still see it's like they draw the faces 2D, but everything else is 3D. I have a problem with Tiger and Bunny, like the way they do that. I mean, it's not bad. I mean, I watch it, but when I look and stare at it, I still go like.
Now, see, I thought it was going to bother me at first. I like it.
Yeah, I still love the show. It's still a great show. I mean, if you have not seen Tiger and Bunny, great show. It's about superheroes. Go check it out. It's definitely worth coming out.
Yeah.
I just thought of an example that more people might be familiar with. Does everyone here remember Code Lyoko?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I love that show.
No. You are talking to the super fan of Code Lyoko right here, now.
That's a good example of combining 2 and 3D.
Fifth season comes out this year.
Wait,
okay, my complaint had nothing to do with the animation. It had more to do with the fact that it was an art style problem I had.
Oh,
the
with
fact,
the big heads.
Yeah. Hey, Keith, what were you gonna say about Code Lyoko?
That show still comes out.
No, it's
gonna say,
season. Fifth season comes out this fall, but they're getting rid of the 2D animation. It's going live action and 3D, and
live action?
it's going live action because the school it's based off of is in France, and hopefully, with the way the direction they're going to take this, is they're going to follow it off the book series, which is like 4 Harry Potter-sized books that haven't come to the U.S. It's going to go into a lot nittier, grittier story about Franz Hopper, the creator of Lyoko and the supercomputer, also the terrorist organization known as the Green Phoenix that was completely left out in the show.
Yeah.
You just saw them as the Men in Black. That's about it.
Oh God, I just got really excited to go back and watch it.
It's season 2 is where you want to watch. You want to skip season 1 if you're not familiar with the show.
No, I've seen seasons 1, 2, and 3 and like half of 4.
Yeah,
that's where I dropped off.
I know it's not anime, but that's actually the show that really got me into animation before knowing what anime and stuff was. Code Lyoko, not the greatest thing in the world, but it's great. I don't have any problems with it.
It's entertaining for what it is. I think my biggest complaint with it was though most TV shows are a little more don't explicitly state that they have a reset button.
Yeah, now they do explain that makes Xana more powerful in the second season. Every time they do a return trip to the past, he's getting stronger.
Well, I prefer that at least.
That's not what bothered me. It's the fact that I think it was funny the first couple of times that they basically said, yeah, it's pretty much a villain of the week style episode sort of thing going on. But when I started to realize, oh no, this is the plot.
That's season 1, but season 2 they do the whole backstory, and season 3 and 4 a little less of that, but it's totally worth it. I'm the person who bought it all on iTunes.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Yeah, at least for me, I prefer it. Like at least they explain it, in the plot that why they're resetting, it. Doing this whole Monster of the Week thing versus something like Sailor Moon where it's just like, okay, this episode happens and now we're going to forget about that episode because there's no continuity between episodes.
I just thought of another show. I'm not sure if it totally counts for this, but what about the later Gundams?
Yeah, later Gundams would count.
I prefer the earlier Gundams, but that's something different entirely. But yeah, they really they're not. It doesn't mesh very well because the 3D style doesn't look like it's natural in the 2D environment at all.
Right.
Yeah, that had a lot of older animes around like 2002 when they just started implementing 3D. If you've ever seen Heat Guy J, do not watch that. That's
actually,
terrible.
I just thought of another one that does it, but actually this one I liked. It's anyone remember Zoids?
Oh yeah, I loved Zoids.
For what it was a stupid fun show.
When I was a kid, watching it back now, I can tell like that didn't quite make sense, or that's a little weird. But like when I was a kid, and even watching back, I remember how fun it was. It's a good show.
I actually still have the Game Boy Advance game, I think. So
hey, at least you're not with. You like the show, you bought the Game Boy. At least you didn't buy the 2DS games for Code Lyoko and the Wii game. Have a T-shirt. Have some of the Marvel toys. The soundtrack.
There's Marvel toys.
They weren't very well done, but
yeah,
I have them.
Well, here, okay, so kind of in the same vein, but going off a little bit, I want to see your guys' opinion. What do you guys think about TV shows that either like have a continuous plot or like
episode of the week.
Episode of the week.
It really depends on what the show's about. If it's something like say Adventure Time, I don't know.
Episode of the week works.
Episode of the week really works well for that because they also reference the old episodes. They're not just.
That's what I like. I do not like animes that just, or animes or any TV shows that just have episode of the week and then they never reference it back. If they do episode of the week and then they reference it every now and then, that's interesting.
Yes, love.
As long as there's some kind of timeline or plot.
Yep.
I'm interested.
Yeah. I'm going to say this right now, and I know I'm going to catch some flack for this, but Avatar. Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh, I love that.
That's a good show.
That was amazing.
Oh, no. I know it's not technically an anime. It's done in the same style.
Korean.
And I'm going to say this right now. That's probably one of the best story-wise cartoons I've ever seen.
Yeah, for sure.
The sequel to that's coming out this year, too.
Is it really?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Keith,
Avatar
what were you going to say?
About Avatar?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that show. I'm watching that now, actually.
Very nice. What episode are you watching?
I mean, not right now, like earlier today.
So, like, what were you on?
I was on season 3 right before the invasion.
Awesome.
Very
yeah,
nice.
that's a good.
Do not watch M. Night Shyamalama's.
I know. I paid money for that, and you know what? I got so many laughs out of laughing at that.
Gosh.
Wait a minute. You actually enjoyed M. Night Shyamalan's version of Avatar: The Last Airbender?
He said he got laughs out of it.
No, yeah, that sounds like enjoyment to me. How could you enjoy? How could you enjoy that?
I went with a group of about 25 friends, and we sat down in the theater, and there were only like 4 of the people in there, 2 of which actually wanted to legitimately see the movie, and we just mocked it the entire time. Like, the 2 people who wanted to see it actually got up and left.
I'm sorry. I really want to stay on track, but just I can't let this go without saying something. The fact that they made Sokka serious in that movie made me cry.
That was the thing that made you... No, that's not what made me the most angry about that movie. What made me the most angry is the fact that they completely derailed Katara's character.
Yeah.
I don't know. I heard terrible things about it and even bothered seeing it because I knew I would hate it.
Yeah, don't watch it. Sokka's played by one of the vampires from Twilight.
Oh gosh, let's not go there.
Yeah,
All right,
moving on.
Yeah, we have to close the show out here pretty quick. So real quick, let's discuss what anime we want to talk about on the next show. We've discussed a couple possibilities. Gurren Lagann is one. I know it's on Hulu, and Matt has suggested Castle of Cagliostro.
Another thing I could add to that suggestion is an anime called Monster.
Oh, I've seen some of that.
It's a longer series, but if we wanted to do like the first 13 episodes or something like that and say what we thought of it so far.
Possibly.
Because that's another dark,
very serious realistic
anime.
I'm actually going to throw my hat in for Jinro, the Wolf Brigade.
Oh, I've never seen that.
It's really good.
I see. The thing is, we want to go for anime that like is easy to access, like either it's on Hulu or Netflix, or it's available legally
sure it's
on
Netflix,
YouTube or something like that. I don't know. I actually need to get a Netflix myself.
Yeah, I don't have Netflix either.
Yeah, you do.
But I don't know. I know, Mark, you've seen Gurren Lagann for sure. I've seen a couple of the episodes, but not the entire series.
I've seen people in silly glasses screaming at each other. That's about all I've seen so far from that.
I mean,
I know that it's one of the manliest shows out there, but I haven't seen enough of it yet.
If you're looking for a action-packed anime that still has a really good plot, personally, I think it doesn't get much better than Gurren Lagann. I mean, there are better animes than Gurren Lagann, but that is one of my personal favorites. A really good slice of life anime that I really suggest we watch at least sometime is Toradora. And we probably couldn't get through the whole series in like 1 week. Depending on what you watch, you might be able to get through the whole series in 2 weeks. But I really like it. Let's see. Some of the other suggestions we have are, FLCL. Which is
No.
What? You don't like Fooly Cooly?
No.
Hold on. I'm just gonna read the rest of the these are just suggestions. Any of the Miyazakis, any Satoshi Kon film, Akira, Summer Wars, or Ghost in the Shell. I wouldn't mind seeing Ghost in the Shell sometime.
The problem with Ghost in the Shell, I think, is that you really can't compare the movie, the manga, and the anime to each other because they're all really different from one another.
Unique works, you'd say?
Yeah, especially you really cannot compare the manga and the anime at all because the manga is a lot more lighthearted than the anime is very dark and serious. And the manga is actually really lighthearted.
Another film to add to that list would be, have any of you seen Grave of the Fireflies?
Oh, yeah.
No.
I've seen that. It's a Ghibli movie.
It's, is that still
It is Ghibli. It's not Miyazaki.
It's a really sad. It's about World War II.
Yeah.
Basically, the main character comes off and tells you he's dead.
Okay, well, we can look it up more later.
That's a good way to start a movie.
Yeah, really. Let's see. Okay, so personally, I would really, really like it if we watched Gurren Lagann, but I mean...
Yeah, well, I'm thinking
I don't really care.
I know I've seen it on Hulu, so I know it's one that everyone can access. Keith, have you seen Gurren Lagann? It sounds like you did.
Absolutely, I have.
I mean, how about this? Would you mind rewatching it?
Absolutely not, I would not.
at least like the first 13 episodes or so of it.
I will watch all of it 4 times over.
Isn't it like 100
I would try.
episodes, though?
I could try to watch it.
No.
It's
No, it's
25.
like 26 total.
Oh, it's only 26?
I've seen
don't know.
I've seen the last half of Gurren Lagann about maybe I've seen the first half of Gurren Lagann I think like maybe twice. I've seen the last half of Gurren Lagann probably 6 times, just because the last half of Gurren Lagann it just doesn't get much more epic. It's
Well, what if we
you'll
say
have to see for yourself.
What if we say like the first 12 episodes of Gurren Lagann?
Well,
or
The
how much
first
you
season.
can watch. How
Let's-
about we
let's-
leave it open
Yeah.
to how much you can see of
yeah,
it?
how much you can see. If we're doing this bi-weekly, I really
2
think you
weeks.
could finish the whole series in a week or in 2
2
weeks.
weeks,
In
2
2
weeks.
weeks. That's what I mean. 2 weeks. But I mean, if you're busy and you're not able to, then just watch as much as you can. But so I assume next time we're going to be talking about Gurren Lagann.
Yeah, let's do Gurren
Sounds
Lagann.
like
yeah.
it.
Sure.
All right, so we have to get
Oh,
out
yeah!
of here. So real quick, if you like this, please email us at avwproductions. We want techheads at avwproductions.com. That's our email.
Feel free to mock me. It's all right. Everyone
Yes.
does it.
Follow us on Twitter at
Cute
techheadsou. Mark's the guy in charge of that.
Oh yeah.
And also listen to our other podcasts, Broken Controllers, Shattered Cels. They're on the same iTunes feed.
No. Shattered Discs.
Shattered-
This podcast is called Shredded Cells.
Shredded Cell.
And I'm the one who came up with it, and I forgot that.
Yep. And also, if you want to contact us via Twitter, you can contact me, M. Goldsmith.
I'm Darth Schmitz.
Don't have the Twitter
Go
up
on
yet.
Twitter. All right, you should get one.
Well,
I will never have a Twitter because of universe implosion problems.
You should make the universe implode,
Keith,
but
what's your Twitter?
KM Crandall Jr. Crandell.
Cool. And this has been the first episode of Shredded Cels. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
come back.
Yeah, we will.
adios. Bye.
This product is copyright AVW Productions 2012.